Bizarre Brain Comics. Oh. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, I want to take a look at Fighting American, number 4 from a 6-issue miniseries from DC Comics in 1994. And never saw too many of these. These are written by Dave Rawson and Pat McGreal, with art by Greg LaRoque and Richard Space. And I am unfamiliar with any of them. But I am familiar with Fighting American. But if you're unfamiliar with him, he's a patriotic superhero created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby in 1954 for Prize Comics, and was, surprisingly for the time, a creator-owned property. Several publishers have had short runs of the character with permission of the rights holders, such as Harvey, and Marvel had a reprint hardback volume in 1989. I've got that somewhere, and that's where I was first introduced to the character. And it was reprinted all the stories, original stories, and one extra that I gather had never been printed before. And Rob Liefeld published a couple of mini-series in the late 90s, and that was after a lawsuit involving it. And just from the sounds of the description that I read, it sounds horrendous. It's and he was basically Liefeld wanting to pick up Marvel's Captain America when he was doing that in the 90s, and then they lost it, so he wanted to continue more. That's the way it sounds anyway. And they had limitations because he wanted him to have a shield, so they couldn't use the shield as throw it as a weapon like Captain America did. He's not supposed to have a shield, and this other stuff. And I do remember, I don't know if I've got a copy or not, but I do remember seeing something, some of this, the Liefeld version of Fighting American, and I don't remember it being very good at all. And yeah, that was in the 90s. But he was originally created in response to Atlas, which was later Marvel. There in the 50s, when they had a short-lived Captain America revival. They apparently didn't like the way that was going, so they said, "We'll show them how to do it." But even their Fighting American run didn't last very long. And Fighting American became after the first story, or maybe the first issue, I'm not sure. It was a satire with contemporary social commentary. Now it's for the DC run, and DC is 6-issue miniseries, and he was a former TV host seeking vengeance for his brother's death. The satirical aspect was carried on, but with less success. Other publishers have since attempted revivals, and apparently none of them were very good. This one is not very good. It has some great artwork, some really nice artwork, but unfortunately the writing is not that good. These guys, I don't know these guys, and they may have been better writers than what this would indicate, because I think it was just they weren't up to writing for this material. No, this is the way I would think. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm only basing it on this one issue that I've got. So let's take a look at issue 4 of The Fighting American. And here we have it. Issue 4 of Fighting American from DC Comics, 1994. And we'll take a look. It says, "Shop till you drop." Oh well. So don't. And it is a little misleading here because it has Fighting American right in the thick of everything, and yet he is not in this issue a whole lot at all, and especially not even in the action sequences. So the other issues might be better than this one. I don't know. It's a continuing storyline, of course. Here in this version, Fighting American is Johnny Flagg, and I gather his was well, I'll just read it to you. It says, "Engineered by top scientists to be an ultimate weapon, the nearly indestructible corpse of Johnny Flagg is inhabited by the mind/soul of his adoring younger brother, Nelson. Together, they are Fighting American." So I gather he's trying to find out or get vengeance for whoever actually killed Johnny Flagg. So Nelson is inhabiting the body and taking over his spot. And Johnny Flagg is some kind of TV show. Now, see, they don't give you much of of what has gone before here, so I just have to pick it all up. And he's well, we'll see here. This is the villain of the piece. He is gross national product, and I think he's also the talk show host, Cleve Woodrot, and and he is, like I said, this is satirical, had satire in here, and I think he's supposed to represent Rush Limbaugh, because remember, this is 94, right? The height of Rush Limbaugh's popularity, and he's joking and laughing, and he's talking about it because he's got some kind of powers, and he's already had effect on some people from his show, some kind of woo eyes, I don't know what. And then he's got this sprayer, and he's spraying it poof 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 all over town, and it'll permeate. And then the people who have already been affected by him before will now be compelled to spend and spend and spend and spend. So it's called Shop Till You Drop. Then we get our first and shot of Fighting American, and he's in prison. They don't remind you why, whatever it is from the previous issue. He's in jail. Don't know why. They don't tell you why in here, but he's a goody guy, which is fine. Except it looks like he's about to be in a fight, but it's actually he's warning the people and instructing them on how to properly separate their laundry and all this other stuff. And the guy's saying, "Oh, gee, thanks, F.A." You know. So then his here he's seeing his producer, young lady who is his television producer, as Johnny Flagg. He's supposed to appear and have his show, but he's in jail. So he's trying to get a way to either get him out, which they want to do anyway, or shoot an episode for his weekly talk show from in prison. And so talking about that, then we switch back to the gross national product, and he's
and his little thing. And see, there was this professor. It doesn't specify who this professor is or what he was a professor of, but they had kidnapped him for some reason, and I think it was to get was involved in getting Fighting American in jail. But I they're not clear on that. See, that's the whole thing. They don't. You don't know just what's going on because they don't. If you haven't read the previous issue, you have no way of knowing what's actually going on. But he manages to get free, takes the chair and smashes it, and the goons are going to rough him up, and then the villain here says, "Nah, it's okay. Just let him escape." So he's been under some kind of influence as well. He's going to zip him. So he's. Then we have another scene change. There's an older black couple who own a business of some kind, and their teenage son is there talking with them. And their teenage son is, again, they just call him the kid. That's the only thing they ever called him, is the kid. He's their son, but he is also Fighting American's sidekick. But he has been listening to this Cleve Root Rot. That's what it was. Root Rot, not Wood Rot. Cleve Root Rot show, and he's been infected with that aspect. And he is just kind of turning on Fighting American. He said he got himself into this trouble, he can get himself out. Then we see people out in the park, and there is the professor. He's mumbling and like he's a homeless guy, and with mental illness, because he's just mumbling to himself. He doesn't know it. So the gross national product did something to him, and so he's just kind of running around. And he's sitting there on the bench, mumbling to himself. Meanwhile, the producer Mary has been talking with this congressman. What's his bucket? And Dorkin, Congressman Dorkin, and he was supposed to be helping to try to get Johnny Flagg out of jail. And I'm taking way too long, but he says, "Oh, I'm trying. I don't know what the scoop is." He tosses some change into the professor's hat. I think he's begging, and all this stuff. So the kid, while his parents are looking, snatches some money out of their till, and he goes off. "I gotta buy stuff. I gotta cash. Gotta buy something." And the old guy comes in and gets himself a beer, or a drink of something, and Mary is still lamenting, trying to get Flagg out of jail. Then suddenly the stores are being overrun by people just buying, and they have riots, and they're just throwing money at people. Say all kinds of guns. People just buying guns willy-nilly, and other stuff, and including the kid and his willy-nilly, while the old guy is drinking up a storm, and the kid comes home with a bunch of stuff. Where'd you get the money? You can't, yada yada. He grabs the kid, and his mother's not sure if what's going on, if they should do it. Mary happens to stop in and doesn't even see what's going on. Uses the telephone, and doesn't see the professor or nothing. And they lock the kid up in a room, because I gotta buy. But there's a TV, and there's the buying channel. I forgot what the shopping network, and he's going nuts. It's because this is all from the influence from that gas from this first page. And it's like an addiction, and a terrible addiction. Well, he's locked away in there, and he can't buy anything. He's going crazy. He's got the DTs going crazy with the channel, trying to say buy, and he can't do it. So you can see all the situation he's in. There's Mary. They're getting stuff set up to shoot an episode, and from the prison. Later, the kid comes out and says, "I'm back, Mom. Everything's okay." It's like it's burned through a system. He goes and smashes in the door at the gross national product. The goons come at him, and he takes them down skillfully. And then, but the big villain, he says, "Oh, what worked once will work again." He's going to do his eyeball stuff. But the kid was prepared. He puts on his mirrored shades. I think not. Woo, woo, woo. And the guy zaps himself. He goes, oh, my good Lord, what awful things have I been doing unto others? How can I ever make amends? Oh, so he's horrified at the evil that he's been doing. And meanwhile, they're getting ready to shoot the show from jail, and the kid shows up with a writ that all charges against the Fighting American have been dropped. The complaint was withdrawn. The gross national product has turned over a new leaf. And there he is, collecting with a kettle, collecting like a money and stuff for charity. And they are at the bar. The kid's getting is getting the hero treatment on TV, and then the old guy comes back in, and he recognizes him as Cleve, Professor. The Professor McCann. I thought you were kidnapped. Was it kidnapped? Yeah, I was kidnapped. But then they turn it and they kind of ignore him, but then we get something for the future. So it's Senate Intelligence Committee, and this is the what's his name? The congressman, and something's going to go down. Come up, because he's not a good guy as they had thought. Dun dun dun, and that is it. And that took way too long to tell, because it's just based on this one issue. It's not a very good storyline. Some nice artwork, and it seems to be written very well. Just that I don't think they were able to handle the satirical nature of the character like Joe Simon did way back when. So, but that's all I've got to share with you this time. The Fighting American. So please like, share, subscribe. Do leave your comments down below. Have you read any of these versions of the Fighting American? Aside from the original, this is the only thing I've really ever read. I think I may have read one issue of the 90s Rob Liefeld version, and I do remember not liking that. But otherwise, yeah, the more recent ones, I don't know. So let me know what you think about this, and and I thank you for joining me. And remember, comics are art.